All right, good morning. 51 minutes after 9. Happy Monday, everybody. Did you get some rest this weekend? Hope you did. Kind of a snow globe effect. You're right. Wasn't too bad, right? Manageable snow here as far as the snow showers. Kirk, I saw your messages. Some schools, though, closed there around the Cincinnati area. Yeah, you got a little bit more of a kick to them. Even I-75 closed for a bit and just south of Lexington last night because of slick roads. So, yeah, these are not enough to cause a major problem here. More festive flakes than anything. All right, guys, I hope you had a good weekend. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Snow Talk. It's still the title. And yes, it may at times switch to Storm Talk, although I don't see that happening as of right now for this week. I think we'll be able to stay Snow Talk all week, and then we'll get into probably get back and forth again here very, very soon. You see Wavy showing up all the reports, MPM reports from you all, actually. When you send those in, showing all the reports of snow. It's got to do snow and or grapple. Sometimes that's your option to pick there. So that's why it looks kind of weird with the report instead of just snow, but it is just snow flying across the region. And these will be a little stubborn to get rid of. So if you love this kind of a setup today, I know it's cold, but if you love the snow globe effect, it should linger a good chunk of the day, it looks like. It'll take a while to wind this down because, again, it's not the boss. The boss is the East Coast storm. I'll show you that in more detail, too, coming up in just a second. All right, let's get to the snowboard. Yeah, I'm still able to fill it out. Can you believe that? Where do we stand on that? Well, a brief mix Thursday morning this week. I can't roll that out. It looks very minor, almost like we had this weekend on Saturday. If you had some snowflakes, I saw some actually in Fern Creek on Saturday. Yeah, it was a minor thing, but just we'll at least put it in, and then we'll trend it, right? About a week from today, rain or snow. That one also looks to be a northern feature for Wave Country. I'll show you that. And then March 5th through 8th, the models are going to go really wild with this for a while. But there's still some Arctic shots of air dropping down. So the problem is timing. You get systems that match up. Gets a little interesting. If they're a little off on that timing, then it's not so interesting for snow lovers. It's rain or even thunderstorms. So it's at least something on the board. And that's why that or is on there. So we'll just we'll take it slow. All right, current wind outside gusting about 20 miles per hour up to 25. Not as strong as we had yesterday. Hopefully you've noticed that when you've been out. Doesn't really matter though. One gust and you're like, ooh, it steams, right? Current temperature in Louisville is 20. Got teens out there. 19 in Paoli, 19 in Bedford, 18 in Tell City. But remember, we got those winds. Around 20, 25, right? So what does it feel like when you step out? Well, it feels like 7 in Louisville right now, 9 in Shelbyville, at about 9 into Madison, Indiana, 9 in Hardensburg, 9 in E-Town. Yeah, you will feel that for sure. Going out to let the dog out or going to the mailbox today, you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to stay back inside. All right. Now, we will change the wind direction around. It will be a strong wind, even stronger than today, actually. But we'll be changing the direction. Direction obviously matters. All right, so that's the cold side of that. This is the worst. Actually, the worst stuff was really this morning, last night. So we're about to pull out of the coldest wave of this particular shot of cold air. So many of you that I've seen on the chat, but you can chat on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Twitch. You didn't get the alert. Hey, Blue, you get the alert. I don't have control of that. Again, we've had some weird things with Facebook. I noticed over the weekend, Carson was letting us know about that. So yeah, the system it notifies all of them, and it's up to them to then notify you. So it's kind of like a trickle down effect. So hopefully they do. And if they don't, then, the app is the guaranteed way you're going to get, because I keep my phone with me. So I keep up with the notifications too to make sure things working. The news app or the weather app, either one, I send them to both. So you do see them on there. They always come through. So make sure that, you have that. So if you're worried about notifications, that's the only way to guarantee. I mean, yes, we like you to watch it on the app, but if you want to chat with me like you are now, then you can go onto the social media page and you'll see us on there and you can comment still. So use them both really, if you want to kind of guarantee you're going to be part of the live streams when we do them. Fair enough. Okie dokie. All right. So let's talk about the radar and satellite. And it's very weird today. We've got some areas you may see a blue sky at times, but this is more of that convective type of day. So blue sky, just like in thunderstorms, will be a bad thing. It will enhance another round of snow showers that will likely develop right over you to the north and build back in. So the sun will kind of help on that idea. But again, kind of a weird day. You may actually have the sun shining and snow flying. Someone's going to report that today if you haven't already. That will likely be the scenario. And this is indeed lake effect snow. Thank you, Lake Michigan, because we can attach the snow to the streamer and it's all the way up to Lake Michigan. So that's the corridor where the moisture is flying straight down I-65. Now, no doubt, if you're a little more in that streamer, a little closer to it, as you cross into Indiana and travel up there on 65 past Indy, you're going to be right there at the source. So you'll hold on to snow showers and even accumulating snow, light accumulations in that area. But the further away you get, it's the streamer itself actually technically ends probably about here, and then snow showers build off of that and push into Kentucky and then kind of spread out in kind of all areas at that point. But the moisture feed comes from Lake Michigan. But there's no doubt you can certainly see the snow showers, and this is a little more associated with the low pressure, which is over here to the right. So let me scoot on over. And this one, I'm sure you guys have been watching live streams. I was watching New York City. Someone was just walking around with a camera. So that's all you got to do. Just walk around camera. Well, walk around New York and don't even have to say anything. Just walk and keep us with a live image. Sometimes that's peaceful. And it is very peaceful there. Saw the buses going through, their version of TARC buses going through. What is it? I knew this. My brain's fried. What are the buses called in New York? Someone knows. I've seen it a million times. My brain is fried. But anyway, they had chains on. I don't think I've seen that too often. But this is a big snow, and it's a big snow and big rain or big wind event that's happening. There is no rain snow on to worry about with this, so it's all snow. So the Northeast, if you live ever in that area, whether it's not Long Island to Rhode Island to Boston, New York, Philadelphia, that is always a thorn, is that rain snow line near MTA. Thank you, Dance, MTA. Thank you. Near or east of the I-95 corridor, that's usually where the rain snow line is in these nor'easters that come through. So to have it all snow is like, oh, snow lovers love that. But then you got a very strong low pressure on top of that. Well, then you got a double whammy, all right? Then you get very heavy snow, and at times near hurricane force gusts have been taking place. Most of them tropical storm force gusts in that area. It's not a hurricane, but I'm just explaining the wind field in that area. Here's the high-res satellite in that area, and there's the low. Easy to pick out. So look at that spin south and east there. We'll do south of Nantucket. And it'll hold at this position for about another hour or two, but it is certainly on its way to head out to sea. So this should wind down here into Jersey, down to the Delmarva Peninsula, but Boston, Rhode Island, and Connecticut area all the way into Maine, they'll be the last to wind down with that. So they got a long day. Snow rates of 3 inches per hour. Let me do another look at that high res. It cuts off there because this is a very specific chunk of the satellite they're looking at, because they're monitoring a lot of meteorology. It's pretty fascinating to watch how the system is really just deepening. It's deepening right now. It's gone down several millibars from 6 a.m. this morning. So it is getting stronger and stronger. So it just really enhances the snow and wind. If you're a true snow lover, I don't know. I love snow, obviously. But I don't know if I would want to be in a blizzard. Maybe just experience it. Maybe. But I like snow that accumulates and is fun and you get out and to enjoy. That's kind of snow I like, especially spring snows are my favorite, actually, or snows that are all off season. Those are my favorite. I love wet snow events because you actually build a snowman with that and everything else. And this is a wet snow for them too, by the way, being on the coast. So they don't have to worry about dry snow. I mean, this is heavy, wet snow that is accumulating up to 1 to 2 feet potentially in this region. Do you guys want to see a live image? I think I got one. Let's see. This is going to be, oh, I got a couple for you all. Let's do the first one. This is going to be live right now at the Statue of Liberty, looking straight down from the torch. And the snow and the wind just kind of blowing there off of Ellis Allen, heading all the way into Manhattan. But wow, what a shot, right? I mean, the snow can even accumulate on lovely Lady Liberty because the wind's too strong, so it just blows off of it. But man, it has got to be nasty out there. I doubt those ferries are doing very well today. Everyone kind of getting around. The seas are kind of rough. But Hey, Lady Liberty's not going anywhere. She's gonna hold on. True bots fan there, right? With live there into New York. All right, let me show you. I got a different camera view. This is going to be live right now into Rhode Island. This is Warwick, Rhode Island that I'm watching. Oh man, I mean this is happening right now into the coastline in the Northeast. Snowing sideways. That flagpole trying to hold on the best he can with these wind gusts again, sometimes over 70 miles per hour, especially just off the coast itself. But man, that is the trees are swaying there, and that snow is flying. You can tell by the trees. Obviously, look at the trees there that have snow there on just one side of them, where the wind's just blowing it off in other directions. So anyway, I just want to share that with you all. I thought that was kind of wild. To see how that is playing out there in the Northeast. So I know you guys got your favorite streamers you're probably watching there for that big snow. Yeah, appreciate you watching me right now to get an update. But yeah, I know it's fun. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. A lot of storm chasers. Took a break from our tornado coverage here and then took off to the Northeast to cover a blizzard. Busy times. But there's not much happening to the west, right? Gets quiet for a bit. So that's good. Once these snow showers and the slow move out, everything will relax a bit. But we don't have a lot of time to relax because we do not have storm systems that are coming in from areas of California here or into the desert Southwest. We have them coming in over the Rockies. So our next one's already on the map. It doesn't look like it because normally when I show you this, like, oh, it's dry for a while. There's nothing coming in from the Rockies. In this case, it's going over the Rockies and then we'll drop down. Another clipper type setup. So we do not have long to wait. We will get back into another active day here very soon with an active radar. So let me show you at least our in-house model, and I'll kind of explain how this is going to trend. Our in-house model doesn't really pick out these snow bands very well from lakes, but I showed you the radar to explain that that's what's happening. Okay, so they move off to the east. We will calm things down. We have a chance to get close to the freezing mark. I just don't think we're going to, global's even going to hit it. It's going to be tough. We'll get into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a little different. And the one thing you notice, these are like little gravity waves, you will. You see the little ripples, the little lines in the clouds, in the higher deck that show up here for tomorrow. That's a sign of wind aloft. But it tells us that another system is moving in. And it's because the atmosphere is trying to flip again from the extreme pattern that the low pressure has had off of Nantucket to now balancing out a warmer scenario to our southwest. It's trying to build in. So there's a lot of change, a lot of, you take a spatula and you flip the atmosphere over. That's what the atmosphere is trying to do. And that just feeds another storm system. So another one is going to race in. Because of that, something has to give. So we will attempt to warm as we head into your Tuesday into the 40s. But you see those lines in the clouds, they're still there. So we're going to likely hold on to a warming wind that will keep us going into Tuesday night. Whatever we hit as a high tomorrow, we may stay there all through the night. Now, it's not going to be warm. Like last time, we had a strong south wind. We stayed in around 60s, mid-60s, right, all night long. We'll trade out the teens and lower 20s for mid-40s. Does that sound better? I think it sounds better for temperatures. But again, the wind will have a kick to it. Nothing to advisory level that I could see, but it will get your attention. It will be a breezy setup because, again, atmosphere's got to flip over so something gives, and that's the wind. Okay, so this little clipper doesn't have a lot of moisture with it because the nor'easter has taken so much out of the region here. So as it moves on by, it tries to spit out something into early Wednesday. Not too worried about that. Otherwise, Wednesday itself, we cool down from the northwest. It'll take some time to get here. So we still have a chance to get into the mid-50s. I don't know if we'll get to 60 or not on Wednesday. We'll attempt it. But as we head into later in the day, that boundary does settle south, and then the rain may accompany that on the southern edge as that boundary moves on by. But overall, Wednesday should get into the 50s because we do have another south wind that leads us into the main rain chance of the entire week. If you're wondering which day has the highest rain chance, it is Thursday. Thursday. That's the day when we have a low pressure that'll move on by rapidly from west to east. However, because of this little ripple that moves on by here Tuesday and Wednesday to our north, it will try to bring this rain snow line, which is basically what you're seeing here in the blue. It will try to push it down to the south into Indiana, but it will battle the warm flow of the low pressure that is moving in across Missouri. Which one's going to win out? Well, typically, as you guys know, it's usually the south wind. So I think the majority of this is certainly going to be rain, but I can't roll out as the system scoots on by. This is where this particular model ends, but I'll show you a different one that I can't roll out that some areas in Indiana, maybe our northern counties, otherwise it'd be another Cincinnati issue somewhere in there, may have a brief mix if these frames were to continue into early Thursday around sunrise on Thursday. So Kirk, if you're watching, I think you are, in your area, maybe Thursday morning, a little bit of a rain snow mix. Otherwise, a band of rain will get established. And the trend on this over the weekend and even today is to allow the heaviest of the rain to fall really in Tennessee and southern Kentucky. We're not getting as strong of a signal and heavier rain now from northern Kentucky or Indiana. So we could end up with maybe a quarter of an inch of this, but our southern counties, because of the east-west nature of this, and it will repeat just a bit, you may get a little closer to 1 inch of rain. That's substantially different from one area of wave country to the other. So right now we're thinking along South Parkway, some of the highest rain totals will happen with this little feature for Thursday. So let me switch over to a different version. This is the Euro. Shows the little weak wave, again, that scoots on by. This is a separate system. This is not the current one that is in New York. This is another one they're getting in about 36 hours. Another one moves in, but this one will have a little bit more of a rain snow issue, although the snowpack probably will change how that's going to play out for them. But they will likely get another round of snow. Not a big snow, but enough that, yeah, they're lucky. This is going to be a very interesting pattern for the Northeast for the next few weeks. This could be the biggest period of snow they've had in years in this time period coming our way. And they've had some this winter, right? But the next few weeks heading into March will actually be some wild weather for them. All right, anyway, that scoots on by. There's the cold air that drops down again. That is this little drop here for Wednesday is what we will see that will be a bit of a catalyst for that rain snow line. And here's the Euro showing it. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. But I think most of you will be rain. Yeah. Not too worried about anything on the wintry side with this one. You see that yellow showing up, indicating the moderate rain I referred to there on the southern part of Kentucky. So the Euro actually looks a lot like our in-house model on that idea that southern Kentucky is going to be the focus for any 1 inch totals could be found there. Okay, so relatively minor setup. We get into Friday. It will move out. These cold air blasts, by the way, are very transient. They do not stick around very long. This was a little unusual. That arrived, well, it's really Saturday night to now. This one's a little unusual just because of the big storm in the East Coast. If we didn't have the snowstorm right now in New York and Rhode Island, we would not be as cold as we are now. So they have an anomaly event. It's not a usual thing to get a blizzard for the Northeast like that. So because they are, though, and they're dealing with a very unusually strong system, we are unusually cold. Does that make sense? It's all connected together. So I don't want you to think these cold shots are going to keep happening like this one. This one's a bit of the exception. It's hard to get this cold, really is. Even late into in February, you don't get that very often with wind chills in single digits. But anyway, just want to mention that these cold shots are transient. That's the challenge we have, though, is because they are so transient, every system that moves in is going to be kind of iffy. As I always say, they're not going to, if they're going to be anything fun and exciting for snow, they're not going to show up until last minute. But anyway, moves out. We warm up. I think Friday doesn't look too bad. Not bad, 50s. We can handle that. Saturday, I think we have a good chance to get into the 60s. Maybe even Sunday. We could squeeze an entire weekend of warm weather. We'll be breezy, but we'll get into the 60s. It's because it's a little bit more of an east-west flow. So at the moment, there's nothing to drive the cold air down. But there's also not exactly a huge push of warm air. Everything's just kind of flowing status quo straight from Kansas eastbound. So, and the air is warmer here. So we're going to get a warmer flow that's going to move into the Ohio Valley. So 60s for the weekend, I think, are looking likely still. Question is rain because it is a fast flow. So the timing of these systems right now looks like they should hold off into the very end. Maybe Sunday night may be sacrificed to the weather gods on that one, but they do move fast. So timing may change this week as we evolve in the 10-day. We may have to still adjust that because it can change up to 24 hours on the speed on these. So got to watch that. Anyway, we get past the weekend. We get into the next chance of could we get a rain or snow setup. Well, the Euro doesn't believe that. The Euro is actually one of the most northern models on this idea. There are others a little more south, especially the Canadian, tracking a little bit more over us into the Northeast. Actually hits the Northeast with a much more widespread winter storm, not a blizzard, but a winter storm that would show up there for early next week if the track to the south plays out. But because of that, we, again, will have to watch Indiana and 71. I'm going to say Indiana and 71 a lot, and snow chances here for a while, it looks like. Louisville, I'm certainly points south, a little tougher, a little tougher. Well, actually, I say that, but then you get into this, and you're like, well, I don't see anything. You're right. At the moment, you don't, but the players are on the field. This is another piece. The polar vortex is trying to do another what we call stretching across areas of Canada as we head into about the 5th through the 6th or so of March. That's why it's on the snowboard. It will try its best to push down and drive colder air. But now we got something a little unusual here. We got a system that is down into Texas. Now, is this true or not? That's a good point. It's a long way off. This is still February. I'm talking about March 5th. So we got a long time to watch this. But just letting you know, the players are on the field. Arctic boundary system in Texas. We'll see. We'll leave it at that for now, but I like the look of that, at least on a map. But it's one model run, so I can't get too excited about it. But I do think it makes sense based on what I've seen so far on all the different setup of the polar vortex trying to stretch, and there is a bit of a subtropical influence there. So it makes sense on a pattern side that something like this is going to unfold. I just don't know how it's all going to actually look. That's for me to worry about, not you. All right, the matrix, not overly impressive. Today's little snow showers. I mean, it's got little hints of a dusting. That's fair. We've had that. We get into the setup into Thursday, again, mainly north and minor. We get into, this is actually the Monday, Tuesday system. Again, the Euro was really far north with that, but then some will still say, no, it could be a little more south. So I'm not saying it's going to happen because that is very weak confidence. There's only about, 7 members that are filled in out of 50. Yeah, we need more. We need more. And there's nothing showing up really for that 5th and 6th. There were, but not on this particular run. So we'll see if it comes back into play. All right, let me get into the 10-day and I'll get some of your questions. Here we go, the 10-day with cold today. Again, we'll try to hit freezing. Tomorrow will be a windier day. Temperatures, wherever, again, they reach, will likely hold because the wind will stay up all night Tuesday night. Getting this into the 50s a little easier because of that. Then we drop with the rain likely on Thursday. Heaviest rain south, maybe a mix north. We recover. Maybe some beautiful weather this weekend. I like how this is looking. Right now, if you want to play anything outside, Saturday, I would target for. After that, we got the early week system that could be rain or snow. I think that track needs to be watched, especially for Indiana, and then we'll just see what happens after that. You already see the Kentucky tornado test drill is showing up. Not this week, but next week for severe weather season. Got to do the practicing, right? See the winter weather advisory canceled for the Dearborn area in Ripley County, heading to Cincinnati. So, Kirk, if you're watching, your advisory has now been canceled up there into the Northeast. All right, what questions can I get to real quick? Y'all are all talking to yourselves, so y'all don't need me here. Yeah, I don't need me here. Always get worried when it gets warmer. Just means crazy storms afterwards. This time of year, you're right. You got to pay attention to that. But you got to stay warm and also get moisture in. So these flips back and forth, they're interesting. They do allow for a stormy pattern, but we don't have enough residency time, it seems like, to get overly warm and overly humid, if you will, amount of moisture. That window is really short. So the cold air is very bossy and keeps interrupting every warm spell. Every time we try to warm up, another shot of cold air moves in and shuts it down. But it is still winter, so that's not too surprising. But as we get into March, those extremes do get a little more dramatic, and that's when you got to watch for severe weather. Any questions I can try to answer, though? I'm here. Anybody? Mark says I'm down to a flake or two. Yeah. Once that wind relaxes, as the low starts to move east of Nantucket, then the lake moisture can't get here as much. So then you'll sort of see more of a partly cloudy sky. You'll sort of see more sun breaks mixed in as the afternoon wears on, and the snow globe machine will shut down. But as I mentioned, it is slow. It's slow to always wind down, but it will. It will wind down. So enjoy these flakes while they're here. This is probably the worst of it this morning. Todd, is that signal for March 6th to raise concerns for cold or severe weather? I don't know yet. Good question, Todd. I wish I knew that answer. All I can tell you is that the pattern would induce a more southern, stronger low pressure. But I don't know what that entirely would mean yet. Usually if they get too strong, yeah, usually bet on warm air. I mean, they're too strong, they're going to cut. and become very much a warm thunderstorm scenario and winter storm maybe for the Midwest. But these cold attacks it depends on who gets here first. If the cold gets here just a little bit ahead of the Texas low, I'm doing a lot of what ifs, Todd. But if they get here first, then you can get a little bit more of an exciting wintry setup in our region. But it's a race, and there are so many moving features. We're looking at what is a feature? We're looking at 7 systems down the road, 6, 7 systems down the road. So there's a lot of margin of error for the first ones in line ahead of it. So we got to figure that out. But as you guys always know, I always discuss long-term here on the blog. I love talking about long-term and patterns. And it's always fun to sniff it out, talk about it, analyze it, and just see how it evolves. And those of you who've been on the blog for a while know that that's what I get really excited about. I think it's very interesting to sniff out weather systems, whether it's supercells 2 days in advance hitting Indiana or, a winter storm that can show up. It's interesting to track it and just see how the data unfolds. You learned a lot. So if you are an aspiring, want to be a meteorological student one day and head into school for this, I inspire you to look at long-term, pick out a system, and try every single day, every day, maybe multiple times a day, to forecast what you think will happen and keep track of it. Tracking it is important. Log it and learn from the mistakes that you noticed. And all you can do is try to do better next time. That's our goal. I rarely get it exactly right. Think that's possible, to be honest. So I try to do the best I can, though, to know that give you guys a heads up that something is coming, and then we refine the details. And I hope that helps in your planning, far out especially. But the finer details will get it matter. But we got to get to the day of the event to know all that, and that's where the frustrating part comes in. You got to be patient and wait and wait and wait. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop rambling. It's Monday. It's too early to ramble. You all take care of yourselves. All right. And I'll see you guys coming up on midday. We're back to a normal schedule again. So all of our newscasts will be on the TV side. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Coming up again at 11 a.m. And let's enjoy the snow in the Northeast. Watching all the video feeds. Pretty wild. And then we'll get into our mess this week, one step at a time.